Recording in progress. Recording stopped.
Good morning, honorable members.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can we start our meeting now?
Good morning, Chair.
Morning. Can we start our meeting? It's 9:30 already.
We can proceed, Chair. We can proceed, Chair.
Ayanda.
Morning, Chair.
Morning. Will you please flight the agenda of today?
Will do, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The meeting is officially opened. The only thing that I can say, in the Eastern Cape, the weather is not conducive. It's very bad. So, but I will proceed with the meeting until the network cuts me, and then I will definitely have to have someone to take over. But I'm going to continue with the meeting, hoping that the meeting is not going to be long today, because it's only for consideration for today. I wish to welcome everybody in the meeting. I hope that honorable members have read the report. But if anything that needs to be discussed, I'm not closing that door.
Recording in progress.
And also, if there is anything that would love to be taken out of the report, we will definitely say so. Let me check whether from officials and from Rico and Ayanda, are there any apologies? Otherwise, the meeting is officially opened.
Thank you, Chair.
Oh,
From the Portfolio Committee on Electricity and Energy, we have not received any apologies from the committee members, but we did receive an apology from the Deputy Minister of Electricity and Energy, who, due to a prior engagement, a visit to the Atlanta Special Economic Zone, Chair, is unable to attend the meeting this morning. Those are the apologies received, Chair.
Excuse me.
Ayanda?
Good morning, chairs. Good morning, honorable members. From the Portfolio Committee on Mineral and Petroleum Resources, we have received nothing, no apologies. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Arisco and Ayanda. Sheila? Sure. Okay. Thank you very much for the apologies. Let me assume that the apologies are accepted, unless there is other thing that we don't know. And let's proceed with the meeting. Can we then, Ayanda, lead us about the agenda? What is it it's saying so as to adopt?
Thank you very much, Chair. Our agenda is as follows. Okay, we are considering the first draft of the budgetary review recommendation report, which will the support staff, the content advisor, and the secretariat will lead the members. We'll start with our content advisor, Mr. Maboda, who will go through to the body of the report there, and then myself and Ari will go through the observations and the recommendations. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. That's the agenda, honorable members. Can we then adopt the agenda?
Sorry, Chair, I see the hand of Honorable Hassan.
The hand up.
Chairperson, through you, I'm happy to move for the adoption of the agenda.
Thank you very much, honorable member. Any questions on the adoption of the agenda? I don't see the hand.
There's a hand.
Honorable. Okay, thank you, honorable. Thank you, honorable Marcelo and honorable Fasia. The agenda has been adopted by honorable Fasia and seconded by honorable Marcelo. Then can we then start going straight to the report? Excuse me. Who's going to start, Ayanda or Ariko?
Steve, who is going to start then?
Okay. Thank you. Continue.
All right. Good morning, honorable chairpersons, honorable members, colleagues, and everyone present in the meeting. As per the introduction, I'm Sivile Maboda. I provide content support to the Portfolio Committee on Mineral and Petroleum Resources. Through you, Chair or chairpersons, we're not gonna go through the report word for word. I'm just gonna highlight in terms of the structure of the report, what is contained in each section. Really what is contained in the report in a nutshell, it's what was discussed with the members, briefings from the department and its entities. So I'll just highlight what is contained in each section. And then when we get to observations and recommendations, that's where the colleagues will then read word for word, because those two sections are critical for the members. Not to say that the board is not critical, but what is at the end on observations and recommendations is derived from what is in the body of the report, the discussions that the committees had with the department and its entities. So I'll start with the first part, which is just the introduction. That is flighted now.
So excuse me, sir. They want to say to me, it's better for us to do the observations.
Thank you, Chairperson. She's having a challenge with her
And
network.
focus on those
One of the
ones.
hosts can just mute.
Sorry,
Do you-
honorable
do you-
members, can I request that you mute
Hello.
your mic unless you are talking to the meeting? Thank you.
I've muted the chair.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, so I'll focus on just explaining what is contained in each chapter or section of the report. So the paragraph that you see now, the first paragraph before the introduction, is basically explaining why the two committees are having a joint meeting on the BRRR. It's because the departments were split after elections. So we are still dealing with vote 34. So it's one vote that the members are dealing with until the end of March next year. So by April next year, you're probably going to have vote 35, minerals and energy, vote 36, electricity and energy. I'm just making an example, but we will officially separate in the next financial year.
Thank you very much for that explanation.
Yes.
But what I wanted to emphasize on members that today, since we are considering the report, we will only focus on the considerations and also observation. Then we will definitely have a day to adopt this report, assuming that everybody, because this report was sent prior, we have this meeting. So we'll deal with that one. We'll just concentrate on those. So that's why I was saying it won't be a long meeting for today, but it will be for consideration. Where there is amendment, we will do it. Where there are additions, we do it and take it note. I wanted just to emphasize on that, on what we were saying. I wish also to acknowledge the presence of the minister. I can understand that it is not easy for us to join this. The program is too tight and also but we have to try and make time. So let's continue by starting there. Unless there is something that the minister wants to say in our portfolio committee, we have to make a norm when the minister or deputy minister is present. He can or she can do the opening remarks, or not opening per se, but input. Minister, do you have anything?
Good morning, Chair. Good morning to members. No, I have nothing to add. I'll just listen to the observations. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, Minister, it's fine, it's all right, but you can observe, and also if you have anything to add or something to say during after our report, you are free to do that. Even honorable members, if they want to submit something, they have to quickly submit it before we adopt the report by writing. Thank you very much. Continue, sir.
All right. Greetings to the minister and thanks, Chairperson. As I was saying, I'm gonna go through what is contained in each section of the report, not the details contained in each section. As members will be familiar with what is contained in is pretty much an assessment of the department, the presentations that were presented to the members. So I'll just highlight what is in each section, and then as you explained, Chairperson, the area that we're going to focus on is observations and the recommendations, which are critical for the members. Not to say that the board is not critical, because the recommendations are derived from the body of the report. The part that you are seeing now, which is introduction, it's really explaining why. It's really explaining why the committee is doing this process. The committees are in this process of the BRRR. So the money, bills, and procedures related matters amendment bill of 2009 requires that the National Assembly conduct an assessment on the performance of the department during a particular financial year. And Section 5 of the Act outlines the procedure that needs to be followed. So each year in October, as members know, you will go through this process of the department and entities coming to present to yourselves, and out of that you make recommendations. So that is Section 1, introduction. So it details all the process that you went through to get to your recommendations, the briefings you received, the oversight visits and other meetings that were conducted by the committee during the year under review, which is 2023-2024. So that section is just introducing the report. Then we can move to the next section, which is Section 2. Mashudu. Then Section 2 of the report, which is supposed to be page 7 to 13. Page 7 to 13, that is Section 2 of the report. It's an overview of the performance of the department during the 2023-2024 financial year. That would be information that members received beforehand in terms of the analysis of the annual reports and any other information that is relevant for the year under review. So that section is about the performance of the department, as well as the presentations that members you've listened to during the period. And then we can move to Section 3, which is page 13 to 32. Section 3, which is page 13 to 32. The section, it's basically that this the Section 2.
Sorry, Sibu, to cut you. I see the hand of Honorable Mailem. Maybe Chair, through you, if we can allow Honorable Mailem before Sibu can proceed.
Chair, can I go ahead?
Okay. Can we get
just
the hand of
two issues on 2.1.1. If you go to 2.1.1, it says the program spent 675 Rand and 95 cents. I'm sure that's meant to be 675.95 million. 2.1.1 under Program 1 Administration. There you go, the very first line. I'm sure that's meant to be million.
Honorable Mailem, why don't you note down whatever that you want to raise and raise it so that the presenter can be
okay, Chair. I thought we were going to do it section by section, but okay, that's fine. I'll do it at the end.
Please, let's do that. Let's take our pens and note what we want to raise so that we can, if we are correct it, we correct it. If we have to debate it again and again, we can do that. Thank you. Continue, Sui.
All right. Yeah. Section 3, which is page 13 to 32, is an overview of the assessment of the performance of the entities of the department. As members would recall, there are about 11 entities reporting to the department. So this section is an overview and assessment of the work of the entities of the committee, performance of the entities of the committee during the year under review. And then Section 4, which would be page 32 to 48, is basically discussion. The discussion. So, the department and entities presented to yourselves during the times that I've highlighted before in the introduction. So this section captures your discussions after the department had presented. So this is just the questions you've asked and the responses to the questions you've asked. This is Section 4 is about that. And then let's move to Section 5, which is 48 to 50. Section 5 is about observations and findings of the two committees. So having listened to the department, you've discussed, and based on the discussions, what did you observe? What are your findings? And then section 5 is about that. So it's the section that colleagues will read word for word because it's important. And then we move to the last section, which is the recommendations. So recommendations is basically having made your findings and observations. Then what do you want the two ministers to do in respect of what you found and observed? Thanks, Chairperson. Through you, then you'd allow the colleagues to rate the observations and findings, and then comments after, I would think. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Sia. Then can we request Honorable Malema to come back again with the question so that we can look at it and also note it and check what is right and what is wrong.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Chairperson. Yeah, I think they've already corrected in the document the issue on 2.1.1. The next issue that I have is on 2.3, the report of the AG to on the DMRE. And this is just a consistency issue. Throughout the document, the way that numbers are reported, it's 178 and then million is in words. Whereas here, the number is put out in full, and it just makes for the document to look a little bit disjointed, if you understand what I'm saying. 2.3. In the second paragraph, under impairment of accrued departmental revenue, the amount of 178,439, 178,439,000. I just think that from a consistency perspective, it should look more like, if you look at the first paragraph, 3.08 million. Anyway, that's just a style issue. Then, Chair, sorry, I'm just scrolling through my document here to see my notes. I think the next one is Chair, under Petro SA on page 31. So the last sentence, CEF indicates that this is due to high fixed costs for the maintenance of the gas to liquid refinery not being operational, and the operational and the environmental liability compared to the previous financial year. Chair, I do think that should be captured in the observations, that it needs to be addressed in some way in the observations, that particular sentence. Then under SFF, just below that.
Excuse me, Honorable. What do you want that sentence to say?
I don't want to change, Chair. I'm just saying that it should be captured. The sentence should be captured in the observations section of the report as well.
Okay.
That we noted. That, okay. Yes.
Okay.
Then Chair, under the strategic fuel fund, a little bit below that, it says, CEF states that this is due to market conditions which remained backwards with the oil price until the year end. I'm unclear what is meant by market conditions which remained backwards. Or I really just don't understand what that sentence is trying to say. So maybe we can find better wording for that. I would ask that the content advisors look at reworking that. I don't have a suggestion. I don't know what they're trying to say there. Okay.
Then we'll come back and check on what the reporter writer is saying about it.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Then on the next page, under discussions on the annual reports under Auditor General, the paragraph talks about the paragraph talks about the various issues, and it talks about not having a CFO and the impact of that on controls. And so it says, when asked if there was a correlation between vacant CFO posts and poor audit outcomes, AGSA confirmed this to be correct. And so, Chair, I think that needs to also be captured in the observations, that the department needs to ensure that vacant posts are filled as rapidly as possible, to ensure that there is no regression in audit outcomes. Yeah, look,
Okay.
about halfway through that paragraph, it says, when asked if there's a correlation between vacant CFO posts and audit outcomes, AGSA confirmed this to be correct. So I think that needs to be captured in the observations.
Thank you.
Haven't
next
finished yet. Sorry. And then, Chair, on page 34, towards the bottom. It says the AGSA added that unreliable performance reporting is adding to the challenge of poor service delivery. And this goes to the targets that are being set and not met. And I'm aware that there has been an improvement in the targets in the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, or an improvement in the performance of the department. However, I think that the AG's comment that there's unreliable performance reporting goes to the way that the targets are set and measured and how they're being reported on. And I think that we need to require that the departments or that the ministers ensure that there is better performance management of the departments that are assigned to them. Chair, and then my last comments are under the
before you move.
Yeah.
Are you saying that we need to add that part, that we have to monitor it?
Yes, Chair. I think that the ministers need to ensure that there is proper performance management and accurate target setting.
Okay, that's all what we have to add, ne?
Yeah.
Sure.
And then, Chair, under the recommendations,
Chairperson Mvana. If I may, it's Honorable Hassan.
Okay.
Whilst
Malem is checking,
we haven't gone through all the recommendations, you see, Chair.
We were still on.
It's a little bit all over the place at the moment. Yeah, maybe we should take the entirety of the report and then take. I thought we were only going to the body of the report, but now if we're going to go back and forth between recommendations and else, I think it's better to maybe take it as one, just for consistency of thinking and conciseness, then take everybody's points thereafter. Of course, through you, Chair.
Okay, I hear what you are saying, but Honorable Fasia, I wanted Malem to speak once and for all, because we're not going to give him another chance, and then we have to finish whatever, whether he jumps from this and that. But I know what you are saying, for at least the consistency of following the sequence of the report. But let's give you the last, what you were, Malem wanted to raise, and then go to another one.
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy to do it either way. I mean, I really don't have an issue with that. Chair, under the observations, if you can go to under the entities, so it's 5.2, I think it is, the second page of that.
Sorry, Chair, apologies. Sorry, Mr.
Yeah.
Mailen. Chair, are we going to read the observations and then members comment,
Commentation.
or are we giving members now to comment and not gonna read the observations and the recommendations?
Can I lead this by saying, we said we're not going to go and read the report. Honorable members have been given a time to read it, then they can raise whatever that they want to raise, and then we'll take note of them. If we have to discuss that, we will do that. But for today, we are going to go to recommendation and observations only. That's what I said from the beginning of the meeting. So I'm saying, Mr. Malen, Honorable Malen, it's your last issue now that you are raising, so that we can proceed to other honorable members.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair, sorry, my hand was up.
And you are?
Honorable Ngweni.
Honorable
Ngweni.
Yes.
Chair, I wanted to really propose or support the proposal of Honorable Hassan, so that we go through the report, even the recommendation, the content advisor read it to us, all of the recommendations that we are doing, and then afterwards, we as members can engage the report. Because now, if we just put it up like there's no, like it's really haphazard and handled in a haphazard way. So I'm really pleading with you, let the content advisors finish to the points that they recommendations and points, and then afterwards we come in as members with all of our points.
You know what? I am a little bit not sure exactly, because the reporter said that he is done with the recommendations. Can we hear from the reporter, the writer of the report? Sia, can you come up and assist? Because I was giving Maliam for the last time to raise all what he wants to raise and then go to another member. If there are any issues that we have to discuss, we discuss that. And I'm repeating that we are not going to go to the whole report. It is unfortunate for you that you haven't read it, for those that couldn't read it. Reporter?
All right. I think there may have been network issues at the beginning, but at the beginning, I indicated that the team is going to go through the report, but my part would be to focus on each section of the report, what is contained in each section of the report. And then when I'm done, which I gave to my colleagues, when I'm done, then my colleagues, Ayanda and Ariko, would read word for word observations. And then another colleague would read a recommendation word for word, because those sections are important for the committees. So the next step was for the colleagues to read the observations and recommendations. Then that will be the end of the report. And then after, members then engage on the report. That was the approach and the introduction. Thanks, Chair.
Do we all agree on what the report writer is saying?
Agreed, Chair. We agree, Chair. Let's get the report in its way, and then we can engage properly.
Continue on the continue. So now is the time for Ariko and Ayanda, ne?
Yes, Chair.
To read one by one. Do that, honorable members.
Thank you, Chair. Rico Kotse here, Committee Secretary for the PCU on Electricity and Energy. Chair, I'm going to...
Before you are, let's agree that the ones that have been raised by Malema is not going to repeat those. The report writer has taken note of those, and we are going to proceed from there. Thank you. Continue.
Sorry, Chair,
Hello.
Chair,
Hello.
Chair, before we proceed, there's one other issue in the body of the report, not in the observations or recommendations, that I didn't get to mention. Chair, on page...
No. Wait,
discussions after.
Wait, Honorable Malin, wait.
Oh, sorry, Chair.
Wait.
Honorable Hassan, Chair.
Honorable Hassan?
No, thank you, Chair. I'm saying you've given us a line of... Let us get the observations and the recommendations, and then members can engage whatever has been presented. So I just wanted to reinforce the line of march and the ruling you have given us as a chair to continue in that regard. Thank you.
Let's continue on that. That's why I'm saying, Honorable Malem, hold it there. You have raised a number of issues, and they have been taken note, because we are not going to go there and repeat it. And you are also not going to accept that. Can you go on, Mr. Ari?
Thank you, Chair. Number 5, Committee Findings and Observations. 5.1, the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. The committee commended the improved performance of the department from achieving 58% in the previous financial year to 75% in the year under review on its set annual targets. However, the committee noted with concern the repeat findings by the AGSA regarding the misalignment of the performance targets of the department to its mandate. There are repeat findings that date back to the 6th administration. They are in an indication that the issue remains unresolved. Then, the historical challenge of ownerless mines and the mammoth task the department has of closing and rehabilitating those mines as consequence was noted with concern. The committees noted that the budget and human resources constraints for the department to effectively do this work, given its current budget allocation. It would take approximately 18 years to seal all derelict and ownerless mines. The committee noted that the slow pace in amending the Mineral and Petroleum Resources Development Act was inhibiting the department from fully implementing its mandate. The criminalization of illegal mining, regulation of tailing dams, enforcement of the mining charter, BEE, provisions are dependent on finalizing the MPRDA. The next one, the committee welcomed the approach taken on the new nuclear build program of ensuring that all due processes are followed to the satisfaction of the South African citizens. The committees welcomed the commitment that the mining cadastre system will be live by June 2025 and implemented and implored the department to keep the industry abreast of developments. Then, the committee raised concern that the key policy, the Integrated Energy Plan, or the IEP, has been under development for more than 6 years, as the roadmap for the energy sector, without which the department will often be challenged by environmental organizations, particularly the development of the upstream petroleum industry and fossil fuel-related projects and programs. The finalization of it is critical. The committee remains concerned by the dispute between the department and the Auditor General regarding the legal status of the Independent Power Producers Office, a long-standing matter that was never resolved. Then, the committee welcomed the plans to review the 2003 Basic Electricity Policy. 5.2, Findings and Observations on the department's entities. The 11 entities of the department achieved clean audits. The two entities that regressed, the National Energy Regulator of South Africa and the Council for Geoscience, could easily improve to clean their audit in the next financial year, as their audit findings were not major. Overall, the committees are pleased with the audit outcome improvements across the 11 entities. The non-compliance of municipalities on implementing the National Energy Regulator approved tariffs and the limited powers of NERSA to enforce non-compliance is noted with concern. However, it is encouraging that the Electricity Regulation Act, as amended, addresses these issues. It is noted with concern that the National Radioactive Waste Disposal Institute failed to complete the National Inventory Waste Report during the year under review because the Eskom Koeberg power plant had not submitted the full information. Just on that one, Chair, I've checked again, even with the CEO of Nerwadi. Yeah, so Koeberg partially submitted, but Itemba Labs did not submit. Then, the committees are disappointed that the reopening of Lily Mine did not occur as previously reported to the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Petroleum Resources. Then, in respect of the Impala mine incident, wherein 13 mine workers died, the committees are pleased that an investigation will be conducted. The increase in injuries and fatalities in mines is concerning. Health and safety in mines need to be strengthened if a zero harm goal is to be attained. Now it's indicating my internet connection is unstable. Where am I now? Then, the committees welcome the fact that the Mine Health and Safety Council has programs and projects for women in mining. It was noted with concern that state-owned entities such as Mintech are unable to upscale and commercialize their pilot projects. There needs to be a broader discussion on beneficiation. The State Diamond Trader and the South African Diamond and Precious Metals Regulator are confronted with the same challenge. They are adversely impacted by the economic downturn. Consequently, the existence of these entities is threatened. The continuous plea for intervention by the South African Diamond and Precious Metals Regulator for VAT exemption imports for the industry to free up the much-needed cash was noted. The VAT exemption on imports intends to promote local trade through producers in Africa. Next one. The challenge experienced by the South African Diamond ruling that set aside Part 4 of the Mining Charter pertaining to downstream mineral beneficiation and effective transformation goals was noted. The CGS's intentions to pilot an empowering provision in the Geoscience Act that enables it to undertake exploration was welcomed. The committees were impressed with performance and governance improvements at the Central Energy Group. However, the committees were mindful of the governance-related challenges that persist at Petro SA, such as questionable deals and contracts entered into. The committees noted the operationalization of the South African National Petroleum Company under the SAFE Group and the South African National Petroleum Company Bill is promulgated. The committee noted that these large-scale changes within the SAFE Group may necessitate the review of the SAFE Act. It is welcomed that the Petroleum Agency of South Africa had completed the feasibility study on shale and was awaiting the lifting of the moratorium on the shale gas exploration. Ayanda will now continue with the recommendations here.
Thank you, honorable members. I'll go through the recommendations. I'm Ayanda Boss, the Committee Secretary for PC on Mineral and Petroleum Resources. Number 6, Informed by its deliberations with the department and its entities, the committees recommends that the House request the Ministers of Mineral and Petroleum Resources and Electricity and Energy to, number one, to ensure that the department and its entities aim to achieve clean audits in the next financial year. Two, to prioritize the finalization of the National Solar Water Heater Program and present the forensic report on the National Solar Water Heater Program to the committee during the fourth term of 2024/2025 financial year. Three, ensure that the Auditor General's audit findings, especially those concerning the performance targets as they relate to the mandate of the department, are addressed. Four, ensure that the fruitless and wasteful expenditure is dealt with and that reoccurrence is limited. Five, ensure that the finalization of legislation and policy documents, particularly the Integrated Energy Plan, the Integrated Resource Plan, Gas Amendment Bill, and Mineral and Petroleum Resources Development Amendment Bill is prioritized. Number six, ensure that together with the Minister of Finance, the funding models of the department's entities are addressed to ensure that they can fulfill their mandates. Number seven, ensure that the National Energy Regulator of South Africa fulfills its mandate by monitoring compliance with license conditions and addressing all audit findings regarding its performance. Go to number eight, ensure that the National Energy Regulator of South Africa exercises its powers as espoused in the Electricity Regulation Act to deal decisively with non-compliant municipalities who are not implementing the regulator's approved tariffs. Nine, ensure that grid capacity is strengthened and extended to allow new electricity capacity to come online. Then number 10, the minister to explore and expand the South African Nuclear Energy Corporation's role in participating and contributing more in the front end of the nuclear fuel cycle development. I think that is number 11. The ministers ensure that the South African National Energy Development Institute is supported in its research on cleaner coal technologies, a positive contribution to the just energy transition debate. 12, ensure that the 2003 Free Basic Electricity Policy is reviewed. 13, engage with the Auditor General regarding the office and report back to the committees in the first quarter of 2025-26 financial year. The ministers urgently attend to the challenges experienced by the State Diamond Trader and the South African Diamond and Precious Metals Regulator and report to the committees on the matter during the second term of the 2025/2026 financial year. Number 15, ensure that Harmony Gold approach to addressing issues relating to women in mines is replicated in all mines. And number 16, we expedite the engagement with Vantage Goldfields Chief Executive Officer to ensure that Lily Mine is reopened and the missing container with 3 employees is recovered. Then the last recommendation, Chair, to the Minister, to monitor the functioning of the South African National Petroleum Company and ensure smooth transition, and after the establishing legislation is in place, ensure that the company is established accordingly. Thank you, Chair. Those are the 17 recommendations that were put forward. Thank you, Ari. Thank you, Chair.
Are you done, Sisi?
Yes, Chair, we are done with the recommendations. Then the last part is just the appreciation that is given to all members and the support staff who were part of the process.
But no one's on board. Hello.
But Chair,
I'm done, Chair.
but Chair, But Chair, you are chairing very chaotic. We are hearing all of your conversations. Please, when you are chairing, try to switch off your mic. Now we are hearing even now your chit-chats with your friends or whoever you are with. This is very unprofessional and chaotic, really.
Thank you very much,
We are not used to this as Mineral Committee.
Thank you very much for that. I reported on the onset that flights have been delayed. I am at the airport. I really apologize. I didn't know the conditions that will force me to chair whilst I am on my way coming to Parliament. But I will try my level best to switch off the video and also the mic. Thank you very much. You will hear the noise at the back, but I've tried to arrange a separate venue to sit down and chair decently and professionally as it is needed. Can we then go to the report that have been tabled by the secretaries and also both of them? That is the recommendation and also the observation. Point by point, I will take note. I'm looking at the hands.
Sorry, Chair, can I help you with the hands? Chair, can I help you with the hands?
I'm checking. What are you saying? I'm not in hands. Honorable James is the first one, and Honorable followed by Honorable Paulson.
Okay, thanks, Chair. Can I go?
Honorable, I'm giving you. Honorable.
All right, thanks. My first issue is in the observations of the department. The fourth from the end. The committee welcomed the commitment that the mining cadastre system will be live by June 2025 and implore the department to keep the industry abreast of developments. Chair, I'd like to suggest that we make that a little stronger, that rather than just have it in the observations, we put that in the recommendations. And rather than just implore the department to keep us updated, actually suggest that the department give us quarterly updates on the progress in the mining cadastre. And can I suggest further that we actually specify that we get those updates during February and May, because those are separated by 3 months. So that's my first suggestion. Secondly, when we get into the recommendations, I've got a couple of issues with, first of all, number 15. Number 15 reads, ensure that the Harmony Gold approach to addressing issues relating to women in mines is replicated in all mines. That's fine, but it's very lacking in detail. I would like us to maybe flesh that out with 1 or 2 sentences, just explaining what the Harmony approach is and those parts of it that we would like to see replicated. So just a bit of explanation, because as it is at the moment, it really doesn't tell us what we are asking for. My final issue is with point number 16, which reads expedite engagements with Vantage Goldfields Chief Executive Officer to ensure that Lily Mine is reopened and the missing container with the 3 employees is recovered. I would just like to add a couple of words on the end of that. My concern stems from the fact that recovering of that container, we are told, might be very dangerous. So rather than risk anybody else's life in that, I would like to add the words to the end there saying, if it can be safely achieved. So that's on the end of recommendation 16. And those are my issues. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable. Can we follow by Honorable Paulson?
Thank you very much, Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Yeah. Chairperson, on page 5 and page 7, it states that Alexco and Eskom did not table their annual reports, and nothing is mentioned after that, but they did appear before the committee. So I'd just like to know what the reasons are and what are the next steps for not tabling those reports. And also, so Chair, Lily Mine is mentioned in two separate areas, and I do know that we are still treating it as one department, but if we could maybe separate those recommendations for energy and electricity and those recommendations for minerals and petroleum resources. For example, if we look at we mentioned the Lily Mine did not occur as previously reported, and then recommendations. We also mentioned Lily Mine again. So if we could maybe just kind of reorganize the report that it does reflect that that the department will be splitting into two different departments, and that already we can start treating it that way in the report. But the report kind of at places mixes up the two departments, the two new departments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Christine, Honorable Madam.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, just in the body of the report at the bottom of page 35, so it says, is that 35? That doesn't look like 35. Okay, why do I have a different report? Okay, so it starts on page 36. If you can go down a little bit. Okay, so there it says, members noted that the free basic electricity policy was promulgated in 2003, the only tool to support households with their electricity needs by providing them with 50 kilowatt hours of free electricity every month. Then it says, since 2003, the 50 kilowatt hours was never reviewed, despite the exponential increase in electricity prices. Now, I think there are two separate issues here. The 50 kilowatt electricity, in other words, it's how much electricity is given free to indigent households. The electricity pricing issue is separate, because you can't say that the price of electricity is affecting the amount of electricity that is given to people in free basic electricity, because it's free. There's no price impact of those 50 kilowatt hours. So I think we need to separate the amount of electricity that's being given, the 50 kilowatt, and the pricing issue, and then we need to bring the pricing issue back in the recommendations. And I'll leave that for someone else to talk to. But we really have an issue about the amount of electricity, not the price of electricity, in the free basic electricity policy. That's the first issue. And then in the recommendations, Chair, I'd like us to include an additional recommendation. If I can just get down there, recommendation 18. And I want to suggest that it be worded as follows. I'll just let the committee secretary get there. So I'm proposing an additional recommendation that says, address the governance issues at Petro SA and the financial viability of the various subsidiaries of the Central Energy Fund. Petro SA and the financial viability of the various subsidiaries of the Central Energy Fund. And report back to the committee on measures taken to address these? Thank you, Chair. That's all I have to add.
Thank you, Honorable Malem. Honorable Captain.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Marcelo.
Thank you, Chair. In the body of the report, Table 3, those columns are indicated to be in thousands. I think that must be checked. Should be millions. Under the findings and observations, 5.1, bullet 1, I'm proposing that it says the issue remains unresolved, that words are added in there. Issue of misaligned targets remains unresolved. So the inclusion of the words of misaligned targets. And I also would like us to add an additional bullet under findings and observations. The committee noted with concern the unaffordability of the proposed electricity price increases for 24-25 and beyond. Under the recommendations, number 2, solar water heating program, to include an efficacy report from the department together with the forensic report. Under recommendation 5, if we could include a completion date for that recommendation. Under recommendation 11, the word that says debate to be replaced with the word objectives. And then to add 2 further recommendations. The first one is an urgent review of the electricity pricing model. And the second one, a review of the targets raised by the Auditor General. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Captain. Honorable Musa. Honorable Marcel.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. And thank you for the presentations. Chair, after we have received the briefings from the department and also its entities, it's important, Chair, to emphasize the following, that we should improve the monitoring of social and labor plans, SLPs, to ensure that mining companies fulfill their commitments and obligations. And also engage and convince the National Treasury that state capacity, for example, Mintech and CGS, rather than the market, must be utilized to rehabilitate and also seal shafts or access holes at identified derelict and ownerless mining sites to minimize the risk exposure and improve environmental health around such sites. We have seen these sites, Chair. We really need to attend to those illegal mining sites and other sites. And also employ the National Treasury to increase funding for the rehabilitation of derelict and ownerless mines. And my next point, we table the South African National Petroleum Company Bill in Parliament before the end of 2024-2025 financial year to establish the South African National Petroleum Company, which manages South Africa's petroleum resources. And then also, Chair, ensure that the Lily and Opium mines are both reopened and actively operating before the end of the 2024-2025 financial year. Then, Chair, my last point on recommendations, expedite the comprehensive consultations on the rollout and modalities of the 2.5 megawatt nuclear generation capacity, which led to legal challenges. So, yeah, Chair, thank you. Those were my points. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Masi. And then Honorable Wine, Honorable Sri,
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Mufoken.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, just three points from my side. The first, under the findings and recommendations, just a note that in the third bullet point, it's noted with concern that the National Radioactive Waste Disposal failed to complete the National Inventory Waste Report during the year under review. ARICO then went on to give the reason why that did not take place. So I've noted that in the document that was sent to us, the draft BRRR report sent to us, the reason that ARICO gave was not included in the draft sent to us. But I take it, Chair, that it will be included after these discussions, and that amendment will be sent to all members. Then on the 8th bullet point, Chair, under findings and recommendation, there's a statement which is made with regards to it was noted with regards to state-owned entities such as Mintech, and then it goes on, it says there needs to be broader discussion on beneficiation. Chair, I think that needs to be amended. I think that it's a very weak statement to say that there needs to be broader discussion on beneficiation. In my view, Chair, I think that we need to indicate that perhaps there needs to be a timeline for the implementation of beneficiation with the beneficiation index to track implementation. And the reason why I say that, Chair, is because beneficiation has been a policy for the last 30 years. And we cannot be still discussing, having broader discussions about beneficiation. I think what we need to be seen is the implementation of the beneficiation policies. South Africa currently is still the largest exporter of raw materials on the continent in terms of the value of, in terms of dollar terms. And we cannot continue in this particular vein. So I would recommend that we begin to put timelines for the implementation and not have just discussions, as well as a tracking index on beneficiation across the board. And then finally, Chair, under the recommendations, recommendation 11, I do think that clean coal technology actually exists. And it says that it speaks about there should be research on clean coal technologies. Now, I'm not sure why we should be researching when clean coal technology actually exists, and whether there just needs to be an implementation again of the technology that is already there, and not to reinvent the wheel. So my recommendation would be that we need to be actually implementing clean coal technologies so that we do not close down our coal-powered fire stations as our European and United States counterparts would actually want for us to do. So we need to be looking at the implementation of clean coal technologies. Thank you, Chair.
I said you will be followed by Honorable Mshangweni after Honorable Mfukeng. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And greetings to the Honorable Minister, Honorable members and colleagues. Chairperson, I would also like to propose the following recommendations to the Minister. I have 4 of them. Number 1, Chair, to ensure that the implementation of the preferential procurement policy of 2022 does not reduce the department and its SOE's total values of procurement from enterprises that are at least 51% Black-owned, 30% Black women-owned, and small, medium, and micro enterprises, so that procurement expenditure meets the objectives set out in the BRRR Act. Number 2, Chair, to improve the ability and capacity of accounting authorities and senior management across the department and its SOEs to exercise adequate oversight over the review and monitoring of compliance with applicable laws and regulations. The other one, Chair, to ensure that the department and its SOEs have adequate internal controls and processes over the preparation and presentation of financial statements, so that the financial statements are free from material misstatements and that all IFRS recognition and disclosure requirements are met. The last one, Chair, to improve turnaround times in recruitment processes to curb lengthy vacancies and high vacancy rates across the department and its SOEs. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I
Okay,
think
thank you. The next one, Honorable Nkambi.
Thank you so much, Chair. I think, Chair, we must put a recommendation in terms of the ratio of inspectors pertaining to vis-a-vis the mines, because that was a issue of concern in terms of not having enough inspectors to do the inspectors around and for all of the mines. And then the PPE of women, there must be some form of recommendation regarding the PPE and the ablution facilities for women, and the machinery type. I think that was also raised a lot. And we must speak to also the sexual harassment cases within the mining sector for that is on a peak, for especially if women can't be able to handle some of the machinery, or then they need to sleep with men in order to handle this machinery. And then we need to also speak to the minister must address the issue of mining houses that are eliminating women's contracts when they are falling pregnant. We need to have something pertaining to that. And then I think we need to also put in a note that SDT are not on par with all of the other entities of the department. It's one of the lowest performing entities of the department. It performed only 42% of its targets. And then we need to, I think I don't agree with the Lily mine. We need to put in if safely. I think we need to put maybe perhaps the mine must ensure that the container is recovered safely. So I don't believe we need to put if, because if it sort of giving those families an indication that their loved ones will never be retrieved and they will never have closure in pertaining to finding those 3 mine workers. I think We did cover the health and safety aspect in mines, and that is on the rise. I think it's effectively cover in terms of that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Ntangweni. Honorable Nkosi, I think you are the last one. Can the report writers and the secretaries get ready just to respond to this comments and also amendments? Honorable VC.
Thank you, Chairperson. Greetings to yourself, the Minister, and all honorable members in the meeting. Chair, I only just wanted maybe to add just few recommendations on our report. Number one, maybe if we also add that we need to finalize the collaboration between the National Energy Regulator of South Africa, which is NERSA, and Transnet National Ports Authority through a memorandum of understanding as to resolve challenges in terms of licensing and alignment of activities due to overlapping mandates. I think if we can have that MOU between NERSA and TNPA, it will also assist. Also to facilitate the rationalization of state-owned enterprises, especially MEXA, Petroleum, the State of Diamond Trader, and the South African Diamonds and Precious Metals Regulator, so that they can improve their financial management and controls to cover all their short-term obligations from their available cash resources. Meanwhile, exploring other revenue streams to reduce dependence on government funds. Also, Chair, to increase the current targeted number of jobs created through the issuing of mining, petroleum, precious metals, diamond, and precious metals beneficiation licenses, and have mechanisms in place to verify the actual number of jobs created. And also, Chair, to establish the conditions required for coordination and cooperation among the SOEs under the department's portfolios, so that the SOEs do not behave in ways that are collectively destructive. I mean, the STD and ESCOM should increase their average purchase of diamond and coal productions from Alesco and the African Exploration, Mining and Finance Corporations. I think that's all from me, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Are we done with
My hand is
members?
up.
Honorable
Hassan, sorry, Chair.
Fasi.
Thank you.
Fasi, over to you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Sorry, I think my hand went down during that process, but it is there. I just have a handful of points to put across towards the recommendations. And just before I start, I also propose that all the honourable members who made comments, especially relating to those recommendations and observations, were very specific. Perhaps we can email it or send it through to the committee's team so that it can reflect appropriately in the report. So I thought I'll just start with that. This point is around expediting the conclusion of contracting agreements, right? That's between the Industrial Corporation, IDC, and successful artisanal and small-scale miners. But with a specific focus, of course, on women and youth-owned companies. And that's really to improve mine prospecting activities, enhance access to sector bodies and relevant support, and of course, promote economic inclusion into the sector. And it's also indirectly, this part's not for the recommendation, but indirectly, the more we support small-scale farmers, the more we support the eradication of illegal mining, especially those elements of illegal mining is in fact small scale. I take the point that a lot of those are syndicates, but I just wanted to make that first point between the IDC and artisanal small scale miners, which I'm happy to email to the team. And then the second point, Chair, on recommendations has got to do also with NERSA. And I think other members may have also spoken to it, but from my side, it's about enhancing NERSA's administrative, technical, and their regulatory capacity. And that's also because apart from them setting and approving tariffs, we need to do it in a manner that ensures a fair and equitable balance, really between the needs of our consumers, of the people that we represent, particularly the poor and working class, but also the regulated entities. So it's really about capacitating NERSA in that way. But it's also around the department through NERSA to collaborate with also other relevant stakeholders, specifically COGTA and National Treasury, to find some useful solutions to a lot of these high electricity tariffs and prices. Because even if we solve the issue on a NERSA level, we know that municipalities tend to add quite a lot to those tariffs. And there is a need for a very formal and informal, so to speak, engagement between COGTA and National Treasury as well, with NERSA in particular. I think we should also expedite the review of the energy pricing, the electricity pricing policy, the EPP. And we know that's quite a big one in terms of the regulatory framework. And my last recommendation is assisting the Council of Geoscience to secure more funding from National Treasury. And others will note in last Friday's meeting, CGS really did bemoan the point that they don't have enough resources. So it's about assisting them to secure more funding from National Treasury, as well as looking at activities and partnerships so that they can also contribute to our economic reconstruction and recovery plan by securing a minimum 5% of the global exploration expenditure through that application of the geoscience information and knowledge. The few I wanted to deposit, but I'll send it right through immediately to Ayanda and Eriko as well, Chair. And I think other members should do the same if there is anything that they've got more specifically with a level of detail. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Thank you very much, honorable Fassi. Can we give over to the right reporter or reporter writing and also the secretaries? Who's going to start? Report writer. Sia, over to you.
All right. No, thanks, Chair. I'll start on behalf of the team, and thanks to the. Yes, I'll start. I'll start, and then the team will follow. Okay. But I think what members submitted it's largely comments and proposals. So those new additions or proposals, we will then action them in the report. The new proposals that were, the new recommendations that were submitted, as well as the general comment on some sections of the report, like, for example, the consistency in terms of millions in word or in number. We're gonna attend to those things so that the report is uniform. And I must say that some of the recommendations that members made may not be correctly placed under recommendations. So we'll see a way of moving some of those into the observations section. For example, a recommendation made by Honorable Ntlangweni about the details around women and the issue about Harmony Gold Mine, the method that Harmony is using, that is not detailed in the recommendation. So we cannot detail that in the recommendation. I've just realized that we didn't have that detail in the observation. So we will put details on the observation, and then on the recommendation, for example, on Harmony Gold can remain as it is, but the detail that honorable member was talking about, we put it up on observations. Similarly to Honorable Ntlangwini's point about details around women. So the Harmony Gold the Harmonic Gold Mine method explanation that would be given in terms of PPEs, etc., that would be contained under the method that Harmonic Gold is using. Then that recommendation of Harmonic Gold on women to be replicated in all mines then remains. So if members can give us that opportunity to factor in the changes, and then we bring the report back with those changes. Thanks, Chair.
Okay. Sivu?
Yes, I'm done, Chair. Thanks.
Okay. Are the secretaries want to say something?
Chair, on my side, I think Sivu has spoken on behalf of the support team. We have noted all the consent of the members, and the proposal will factor them in, and also separate the recommendations as was said by the members, and then we'll bring the report back before we adopt it for tomorrow. Thank you, Chair.
What time will be the meeting tomorrow, Ayan?
It's 9:30, Chair. The normal
Virtual,
committee
huh?
meeting for energy is 9:30. It's also virtual. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, secretaries, and also Sivuile. Then if there is anything in the agenda, Ayanda?
No, Chair,
Is
the
there
agenda
anything?
was only this consideration of the report.
Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, then we will adopt the report tomorrow, honorable members. Today it was only the consideration of the report. Thank you very much. The meeting has adjourned till tomorrow.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chair.
Chair.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, honorable members and officials. Close the